You can feel it. I am really very, very happy to have, not only happy, I'm honored to have between us Mr. Gilbert Ghostine, who is a big friend of mine, and he is a board member of the Maronite Foundation in the world. Gilbert Ghostine is the Chief Executive Officer of Firmenich, the largest private-owned company in the fragrance and flavor business and #2 worldwide. Gilbert joined Firmenich in October 2014 as the group's first non-family member CEO since its creation, opening up a new era of development for Firmenich. Gilbert is firmly focused on value creation for the group, its business partners, and its stakeholders. For the group, making a positive contribution to his community has always been a personal priority for Gilbert. That's why he places sustainability at the core of the group's strategy. Today, he is putting their expertise to work to address some of the world's greatest challenges, such as sanitation, health, and nutrition. Also, Gilbert is deeply committed to running responsible operations, as confirmed by the group's accession this year to the CDP ranking of the world's most responsible companies in terms of environmental management. Another hallmark of Gilbert's leadership style is his commitment to the personal and professional development and the progress of his colleagues. For Gilbert, it's people who build companies and legacies. That's why he always puts people first. Prior to joining Firmenich, Gilbert spent 21 years with Diageo, where he held executive roles and led the Diageo business across 4 continents: Africa, Asia Pacific, the US, and Europe. Gilbert is a Lebanese national and holds a master's degree in business administration from St. Joseph University in Lebanon. Also, he followed the Harvard Business School Advanced Management Program. He is married to a friend, Rola, and he has 2 children. أهلا وسهلا بجيلبert.
Thank you very much, Hiam, for this flattering introduction. Good morning, everyone. I think we could still say good morning. It's not noon yet. I am really delighted to be here. I have massive respect and admiration for the work that the Maronite Academy is doing and the Maronite Foundation, and I'm always there when they need me, to address especially an exciting group as you are. I realize that my slot is a tough one, because whenever you're making public addresses, they always ask you, check who are you following, and check who is after you. I'm following Samir Bricho, who is a very inspiring speaker and spoke about a very, very interesting and exciting topic, and I realized that I'm the only person standing between now and your lunch. So I will do my best to be as engaging as possible. This is why I decided to give my presentation from here and not to stand behind the podium, so at least I can, have eye contact with you and engage you as much as possible. The way I will structure my presentation is mainly in 3 buckets. So I'll give you some background about me, what I do. Second, I'll talk about leadership, and most importantly, leadership in the 21st century. And third, I will tell you what we are doing about it. As Firmenich, how are we tackling these challenges? And then I will allow time for Q&A. The reason I'm excited about this engagement is the following. I strongly believe that our role as leaders is to engage the next generation of leaders and future leaders and engage with you to share with you our knowledge. Second, I always dedicate 50% of the time that I have for these engagement sessions for Q&A. Why? Because it is very important for me to know what you have on your mind, because the learning will be both ways. You know, I will learn from you. You're our consumer. You're our future leaders. So I will understand, you know, what are the priorities for you now and for the future. Some of you might have read my bio. You know, part of my career, you know, I spent 5.5 years in Asia, running Asia Pacific for Diageo. And there is one quote that, you know, left a mark on me, and I would like to share this quote with you before I start. And the quote is the following. It's a Chinese proverb. And what this Chinese proverb says, if you want 1 year of prosperity, grow grain. If you want 10 years of prosperity, grow trees. If you want 100 years of prosperity, grow people. And this is exactly what the Academy, Maronite Academy, is doing today. And this is exactly one of the reasons why I'm so excited to be here with you today for this engagement session. Let me start with, you know, the first section of my address. And it's mainly, you know, giving you a quick snapshot on who I am. I am 55 years old. I was born in Lebanon back in 1960. I am very proud to say that I'm 100% Lebanese leader because, you know, I was brought up in this country. I went to school and university in this country, and I married a fabulous Lebanese lady, Rula, with whom, you know, we are living together for the last 29 years, actually. Together, we have 2 children, Mark and Maria, and Mark is 26, Maria is 24, so it's mainly your age. That's why, you know, your insights will be very valuable for me, you know, to know how to engage more with our children when we go back home. We were very privileged, you know, throughout our career. We have great universities in Lebanon and great educational system, and I was brought through this educational system in Lebanon. And when we finished university, we went to the biggest challenge and tackled the word opportunity. Together, Rula and I, you know, lived in Africa, lived in the US, lived in Europe, lived in the Gulf, and at the same time lived in Asia. And we had a very big privilege, you know, to live and run businesses across these 4 continents. That helped me as a springboard to be an exceptional experience throughout our career and also our personal lives. I was also blessed at a young age. I managed to define my purpose. And I always encourage young people early in their life to define what their purpose in life is, or what you call it in French, your raison d'être. So you know what is right, what do you aspire for, and what do you want to achieve in your life. And very early in my life, you know, I've defined my purpose, and you can read it here, which is making a positive contribution to my family, to my friends, to the business colleagues, and at the same time to the communities in which I operate. And this was my guiding principle throughout the last 29 years of international career. Let me talk a little bit about, you know, the company that I work for, you know, for the last 11 months, which is Firmenich. You know, Firmenich is a fabulous company. You know, what we do, you know, we are in flavors and fragrance, and we create excitement in the world by flavoring, you know, the best brands and creating fragrances that, you know, delight also our consumers. This is an exceptional company. You know, this is a company that has been established back in 1895. You know, the company has 120 years of heritage, 120 years of legacy, 120 years of, you know, creating excitement around the world. We were very fortunate because the founding fathers of this company, you know, in early days, you know, decided to do the international expansion of the company. So if we take a continent like, you know, Latin America, you know, as a company, we've been in Colombia, in Argentina, in Mexico, and in Brazil for the last 62 years. So this gives you an idea of how visionaries were our founding fathers, and they have driven the international expansion of this company. We have 7,000 employees. Our net revenue is 3 billion Swiss francs. Our business is driven by research. We have 400 scientists. 150 of these scientists have a PhD in science. We invest 300 million Swiss francs every year behind research and development, and we have 2,000 live patents, patents that are in force today. And we are a company that also is privileged to have a Nobel Prize in chemistry back in 1939. So that's a little bit what we do. The strength of the company is three key things. The people we have exceptional colleagues all over the world who are so passionate, so dedicated to making a difference for our company, for our stakeholders, and for our clients. The level of client intimacy that we have is second to none. At the same time, part of our core DNA is research. What do? We fragrance the world's most desirable brands. So when you look at our fragrance business, we're in fine fragrance, and that's what you define in your words as parfum or perfumes. And at the same time, we have body and home care. In fine fragrance, which are the parfum or the perfumes, we are the #1 company in the world in fine fragrance. And in body and home care, we are the second biggest company in the world. And you could see here, what we touch. Most of the brands that you use every day, are flavored and fragranced by our company and our team. And we realize and we recognize that 3 billion consumers in the world every day use brands that are fragranced and flavored by our company. If we move to the flavors world, in the flavors, you have beverages, you have sweet goods, and you have savory. And we are also active in these three sectors, also flavoring, the most important and promising brands in the world. When you look at the companies that we supply, you could see the list of the top FMCGs that on the screen. The top 20 FMCGs in the world represent 65% of our net revenue. And that's, where our core business is. And obviously, we have offices across 100 countries in the world, and we have 32 manufacturing facilities also spread out across, the 5 continents. Let me now talk about, the core topic of today, that is leadership. Leadership is very important because leadership makes the whole difference. And leadership in the 21st century is completely different than what leadership stood for in the 20th century. Let's start with the 20th century. So in the 20th century, leadership was all about creating shareholder value. You're a big leader, like Jack Welch. If you create shareholder value, you create profits for your shareholders, your share price will go up, your shareholders will be delighted, more shareholders will put money into your stocks, and here you go, and you're in a cycle where you're always driven by shareholder value return. Also in leadership in the 20th century was all about inspiring people, coaching them, mentoring them, spotting the right talent, helping them fulfill their career aspiration. These were the two key areas about leadership in the 20th century. And if you think about all the leaders that you or your fathers or your uncles or your relatives valued and cherished in the 20th century, these were the key attributes. Now, if we look at the 21st century, we're still about shareholder value creation. We still inspire and motivate people every single day. But most importantly, what we stand for is making a difference in our communities. If we look at all the stats in the world, the people will be excited and inspired by big leaders who not only create shareholder value, who not only are able to be successful in spotting talent and helping them fulfill their career aspiration, but most importantly, the way they are giving back, the reputation of the company, and at the same time, how are they contributing back to the community and the impact they are making in their communities, be it on the environmental footprint or be it on hygiene and sanitation, be it on health and well-being. All of these sectors are as equally important for shareholders than shareholder value creation. And even if you look at some of the big pension funds and even investors in the world, they will invest in companies that are socially responsible. They will invest in companies that have a very good sustainable report. And they will look at their sustainability report before they look at their financial report. And it's very important that today, in today's world, part of the most successful companies in the world, at least 85% of them have a sustainability report that is very rich, and at the same time, all of them are genuinely working very hard to make an impact to the communities in which we work and make our world a better world. Let's talk now about the planet. This is the best time in human history to be born. And I actually stole this quote from President Obama, who used it in one of his speeches last year. Why is this the best time in human history to be born? If we think about the 21st century, although, when you think about the 21st century, this 21st century is still young. We're still 15 years old. But so many things have been achieved in these 15 years of the 21st century. We have poverty. If you look at poverty, 1 million people came out of poverty over the last 20 years or 15 years. We have child mortality. If you look at all the stats about child mortality, in this century, 17,000 kids below the age of 5 are being saved every day around the world. So mortality has been halved. At the same time, when you look at improvement in sanitation, access for people to clean water, this has improved significantly. Even medical advances, fighting against diseases like malaria and tuberculosis, huge achievements have been done during this century. Not to talk about technology. Technology has empowered science to be able to make a huge leap forward also this century. If we think about the advances in science over the last 5 years, they are more than the advance that we had in science over the last 5,000 years. So this is how much impact has been achieved over the last 15 years during this century. Obviously, when you think about the internet, when you think about digital communication, also this is giving the new generation, lots of power, lots of ammunition, to be also stronger and to compete on the world, in the world business scheme in a more prominent way. And the odds are that your generation, will live healthier, will be literate, and will live longer, and most of you will be able to fulfill your dreams in the 21st century. But the world is still facing many challenges. If you look at where the world population lives, the highest number of people in the world live in the red zone rather than the combined people that live in the gray zone. So if you think about China, India, Southeast Asia, the population here is bigger than the population that you have in all the gray area that you see. And also we need to take into consideration that we still have 1 billion people in the world that go to bed hungry at night. So we still have this poverty issue that we need to address. 1% of the world population control almost 50% of the wealth that exists in the world today. We still have 2 billion people, over 2 billion people, that have no access to clean sanitation, which means that you have over 2 billion people that defecate in the open every day. And the implication of all of this in terms of hygiene, in terms of sanitation, impact to the environment, risk of harassment, of rape, and at the same time being attacked by animals in the bushes. Global warming, we feel it. 2014 was the warmest year on record in the history of the planet. And if we look at the records, the last 14 years have been the warmest on record in the history of the world, which means we have an issue about global warming that we need to tackle seriously. We talked about hunger. We have also obesity problem. You know, the obesity problem is one of the biggest pandemics also that the world have today, and is costing, you know, the world $1 trillion every year in terms of medication and treatments. I strongly believe that business is a force of good. You've heard it from Samir Bricho, your previous speaker, who was talking about the taxes that the oil and gas industry is paying. What businesses do, you know, businesses create jobs and at the same time pay taxes. If we look at some of the stats, and you might find these stats, you know, interesting for you. If we look at the developing world, or what some people call it the emerging world, so Latin America, Asia, Africa, and the Middle East, 80% of the GDP is, 60% of the GDP, you know, is being driven by business. 80% of the capital flow is being driven by business, and 90% of the jobs are being created by businesses. So this is why businesses are a force of good, creating jobs, paying taxes, but this is not good enough. Businesses, what do they need to do in the 21st century? Give back to their communities and help, you know, the planet be a better world in which all of us can strive and live and enjoy, you know, the beauty that this planet can offer us. What are we doing in Firmenich to tackle these issues? We have focused in Firmenich on several areas. You know, the first one, and I'll talk about it later, is about health and sanitation. You know, we are also addressing, you know, health and well-being through addressing obesity. I will talk also about what we're doing about our carbon footprint to make sure that, you know, the environment is also addressed properly. We talk about education, and we will talk about all of these areas, and also how are we helping farmers and help driving the sustainability agenda in the communities in which we operate. And I will talk about each one of these at a turn. Let's talk about how we're addressing hygiene and sanitation. So you've seen from a previous slide that you have over 2 billion people in the world that doesn't have access to proper sanitation. We are joining forces with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation in order to reinvent toilets. And as I told you, you know, what we do in Firmenich, you know, we are driven by research. Research is part of our DNA. We invest 300 million of Swiss francs every year, you know, behind research and development. And we are using our research and our scientists, you know, to help address this issue. And we have a very successful laboratory in New York where we're working on malodor control. And through the malodor control, you know, we will be able to work to reinvent toilets and to make sure we offer good sanitation to people in this part of the world that don't have access to proper sanitation. This project has started a year ago. You know, we are hitting all the milestones that we need to hit. We feel very excited about the science that we have uncovered so far to be able to tackle this issue, and we strongly believe that we will be able to deliver against the goal that we have set ourselves back 18 months ago with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation gave us $6.5 million as grant for this initiative that we have matched with another $6.5 million from Firmenich. Let me move to the next one, that is, you know, addressing obesity. Through our taste modulation technologies, you know, we are able to reduce fat, sugar, and salt by almost 50% while maintaining the same taste. And you know what drives food is we have this acquired taste, and we are used to this taste. And you know, if we get you the same food, you know, with 50% less fat, 50% less sugar, you'll have a spoon of it, of this yogurt or whatever, and you say, I don't like it. And why? Because you have been used to this acquired taste that has, you know, a better mouthfeel. And this is what we are addressing through our science and through our research, through taste modulation. we came with solutions that we have been marketing also for the last year, to address this important sector and help and contribute to address obesity. Through education, obviously, we are doing lots of investment and we have lots of alliances all over the world. These two that I'll talk about is what we're doing with neuroscience and at the same time with sustainability. We have funded 2 chairs this year, one with EPFL and the second one with Stanford University, to bring the best in Europe and the best in the US to join forces and work on addressing these issues around neuroscience and sustainability. We've invested $5 million into this one, and we are very excited about these chairs, and this is an initiative that we've kicked off back 6 months ago. What we're doing also, we are helping to address the lack of education, also through this partnership with EPFL and Stanford University. All of you know about MOOCs. So MOOC is not a new term for young generation. These are about these massive open online courses that are being led by big universities. The 2 world leaders in these MOOCs are EPFL. They are the leaders in Europe, where they have these open online courses for 750,000 students. And the leaders in the US are Stanford, where they have 1 million students joining these MOOCs. What we have organized with Stanford and EPFL is both of them, they have joined forces to dedicate specific courses, specific MOOCs for Africa. And guess what? We have picked the topics that are the most relevant for African consumers. And we'll do them in French and in English, so we could cover Eastern Africa and Western Africa in a way that we cover students that are more prominent in English or more prominent in French. And the focus is on sustainability, health, and social entrepreneurship. And these are the 3 topics that are the most relevant for the Africans' upcoming young students in this continent. Let me now talk about carbon disclosure and what we are doing as a company to make sure that we also have an impact on the environment in which we operate. Obviously, as I shared with you, we have 32 plants all over the world, and we want to make sure that the way we're operating, we are operating at the highest standards of sustainability. And you could see on this slide, the latest ranking, the 2014 ranking of the CDP. And as you could see, we feel very proud that we are in the right league. With most of our clients, and at the same time, we are leading the pack. Now, we want to talk about sustainability and how, through the actions that we do, we are helping to create wealth with 250,000 families across 42 countries. And these are predominantly farmers that we are helping, to collect from them their natural resources, their natural ingredients or the natural flowers that they have, and buy them directly from them, ensure for our clients the traceability of the products, and at the same time, while protecting the biodiversity. And I think the best way to bring this to life is to share with you these 2 very inspiring videos, one about the vetiver in Haiti, and the second one about the rose from Grasse in France. Mary, can you please run the video? Let's be optimistic.
ماشي بدنا صوت روبير ولا بيرفادي بدنا صوت
la connexion que j'ai avec ces produits en tant que parfumeur, donne une texture à mon travail qui est différente et qui m'inspire énormément.
La situation économique en Haïti n'est pas très bonne. Très peu de travail, beaucoup de chômage, donc un niveau de pauvreté très élevé.
Dans l'ensemble, ça va mal. Mais dans la zone du vétiver, grâce au vétiver, ça va bien.
Fait au Caille, grâce à la culture du vétiver, la population a la chance de pouvoir avoir des revenus qui leur permettent de vivre.
Firmenich contribue, par les consommations de produits naturels qu'il a, contribué à faire vivre 200 000 fermiers sur la planète. Et à Haïti, c'est très significatif. La filière vétiver à Haïti, c'est 27 000 familles. Donc, très vite, dès qu'on est sur place, même dans un simple rôle d'acheteur, c'est impossible de ne pas saisir la dimension humaine de ces filières.
Le développement durable, c'est un win-win situation, comme on dit. Si vous respectez les gens qui font pousser la plante et que vous respectez l'environnement où cette plante pousse, c'est que du positif. C'est assez spécial pour un parfumeur de découvrir la racine de vétiver qui sort de terre. Mais c'est marrant, t'as bien le côté un peu pamplemousse aussi. Quand tu sens la racine fraîche, elle n'a pas du tout le côté brûlé, tu sais. Elle a le côté très vert, en fait.
Il faut qu'on produise davantage pour permettre à ces créateurs d'aller plus loin.
C'est motivant pour moi de voir que des gens essayent de toujours trouver des nouvelles tonalités, mais c'est aussi motivant pour les gens qui découvrent ces tonalités de voir des parfumeurs qui sont très inspirés et très motivés pour utiliser leurs produits. Et les odeurs sont plus séparées pour moi. Cette qualité, c'est une boule très ronde. Et le vétiver traditionnel, c'est quelque chose qui a beaucoup d'identité. Aujourd'hui, c'est la meilleure qualité de vétiver qu'on peut trouver dans le monde. C'est une essence qui a énormément évolué au cours du temps et qui aujourd'hui est très belle.
Agri-Supply est certifié EcoCert, biologique depuis 2010 et Fairtrade, donc équitable depuis 2012. Avec l'équitable, en fait, nous accordons une prime de 10% du prix de la racine à chaque producteur qui aura livré sa racine à l'usine.
De son côté, Firmenich, l'acheteur final de l'essence, accepte de payer son essence 3% plus cher que le prix normal, et ces 3%-là sont reversés directement à la coopérative. Pour des projets autour de la santé, autour de l'environnement, c'est eux et eux seuls qui le décident.
Vous avez choisi tous ensemble d'utiliser ces fonds pour la santé, pour des projets santé.
Les jours que nous venons entrer dans la coopérative, là, nous venons un peu changement de l'environnement et puis vétiver nous vient donner plus. Et ça vient permettre de nous rentrer pour nous faire les vaccins à l'école, prendre soin de manger à l'école, aux malades, mener à l'hôpital. Ça vient aider nous actuellement là.
Maintenant, ils sont vraiment beaucoup plus proches de nous parce qu'ils voient les choses qui bougent. Ils voient les choses qui se mettent en place, ils ont vu l'école se construire, ils ont vu les rentrées scolaires qui se passaient bien, ils ont vu qu'on aidait les enfants. Et à travers les enfants, on aide l'ensemble de la communauté.
J'ai beaucoup d'admiration pour Firmenich, pour une compagnie qui va plus loin, qui s'intéresse aux projets sociaux, qui s'intéresse au bien-être des communautés de vétiver, qui va plus loin que le business.
Ça va plus loin que l'engagement caritatif. L'équipe Firmenich pense davantage au business for development, pas la charité.
Lorsqu'une société comme Agri-Supply, une société comme Firmenich ont tous les deux la conscience que la survie de ce produit passe par la vérité des liens qu'ils établissent avec les fermiers, eh bien ce tissu-là, c'est ça qui constitue la confiance et celui-là, on ne peut pas le rompre. Et c'est ça qui construit des filières qui nous donnent confiance.
Je suis assez fier en fait de travailler pour une société qui a ce genre de philosophie. Et je pense qu'au niveau des produits naturels, c'est plus qu'une philosophie, c'est une raison d'être.
Quand j'étais gamin, j'ai eu la chance d'avoir une grand-mère qui était ce qu'on appelle une ramasseuse de roses. Et ça a été mes premières découvertes du parfum. Et j'ai des souvenirs extraordinaires. Donc déjà de ces odeurs-là, de cette dame qui cueillait aussi la rose.
Festo marescami, la mazurka gesto danzo, la fare tutto lipin. Veneschi nouveau s'avanço, festo marescami, la mazurka.
Et pour moi, revenir à Grasse, c'est ça, c'est revenir à mes racines, écouter ceux qui ont la connaissance de la terre et la connaissance des fleurs.
Ça, c'est une d'aujourd'hui.
Ça,
c'est une d'hier.
On voit la différence.
La différence.
Et au niveau de l'odeur, celle-là, elle est beaucoup plus florale. C'est une rose qui est très complexe, qui est très riche, très dense, qui apporte beaucoup de signatures aussi dans l'écriture de mes parfums. Qui donne ce côté aussi très naturel des produits et ce côté mystérieux.
Heureusement que j'étais passionné parce que sinon je vais arrêter. Parce qu'il y a 10-15 ans, ça arrivait vraiment mal, j'étais à deux doigts de tout arrêter parce que ça ne rapportait plus.
La rose disparaissait du paysage grassois parce que malheureusement les paysans ne se retrouvaient pas financièrement dans le fait de cultiver la rose. Donc Firmenich signe des contrats avec des partenaires et si Firmenich n'investissait pas avec ces partenaires-là, aujourd'hui la rose aurait disparu de Grasse et on aurait des centres commerciaux, je ne sais quoi d'autre.
Signe avec des producteurs sur une longue période. Donc on les sécurise, on les rassure, on les assure de prendre toute leur récolte.
C'est très important d'être le débouché assuré. Ça nous permet de voir un peu plus loin que l'année en cours et puis de faire des investissements et puis de pouvoir payer le personnel correctement et de ne pas être toujours derrière la banque à solliciter des prêts.
Chez Firmenich, on a une règle au niveau des origines, on ne les mélange pas et la rose Centifolia pays est assurément de la rose française, transformée en France, à notre usine de Tourette, non loin d'ici. Voilà. Et elle n'est pas mélangée avec une autre origine.
La rose de mer, on n'en trouve pas énormément. Donc au plus il y aura de roses, au plus on peut en faire des absolus pour la création de mes parfums.
L'an dernier, M. Rebuffel a livré un peu plus de 3 tonnes. Cette année, il a des jeunes plants qui rentrent en production. Donc on espère, et pour nous et pour lui, 3 tonnes 5 peut-être, et pleine production 4 tonnes.
Et je pense que pour monsieur comme monsieur Rebuffel, de voir au mois de mai ces champs qui passent du vert au rose, pour lui c'est une fierté, et pour nous c'est un bonheur. Donc les roses, elles nous encore.
Ouais, j'espère longtemps pour moi.
On va faire ce qu'il faut. On prépare l'avenir.
Et c'est là aussi.
Ça va être très bien. Et elles sentent très bien.
So as promised, I kept it light on you. I only had 20 slides and these 2 videos, but I hope, I managed to bring to life, our métier, what we do for a living, and at the same time, how as a company, beside creating shareholder value and inspiring our people and servicing our clients, we manage to give back to the communities in which we operate. So I want to thank you for listening to me this morning, and I want to turn it over to you for questions. Thank you. Yes. Someone needs to give you a mic. Just be patient, it's coming.
Hello, I'm Bruno from France, and you spoke about leadership. I have a question because you spoke about leadership on the 21st century. I think today we have a huge flow rate of information which provide us instantly great feedbacks, big feedbacks. So don't you think there is some relationship between leadership at 21st century and between this Freud? Because you have to lead educated people and people who have access to information easily. It's very different maybe than before, 20th century and 19th century. And that's why I think now I want to know your point of view about being relevant as a leader. Because maybe now inspiring people is not enough anymore. We also need to be very relevant and to be, how to say, yes, very honest, transparency. So I want your point of view about this and relationship with media.
Thank you for asking me this question. I think, you know, I'll try to capture it in one word. So I think what you are trying to say is reputation is equally as important or is more important in today's world than it was in the past. I would say reputation has always been important. We are always supposed as leaders to do the right thing. You know, now, you know, with the new generation, you know, with access to digital and communication, you know, all of you have this information on your fingertips, and you can easily spot, you know, which companies or which, you know, operators are, you know, behaving responsibly and, you know, abide by the sustainability standards, are making an impact in their communities, and who are not, because of your easy access to information. But reputation is always very important, and, you know, it has to be part of who you stand for as a person, as a leader, as a mother, as a human being, and it has to be consistent with your values, your ethics, and your behaviors. Yes.
Sorry. Hello, my name is Stephanie from Canada. So you mentioned how you lead various initiatives and you try to give back to the communities. I want to know what you do to give back to the Lebanese community and how you help with employment here.
Yes. Look, this is a very good question. I have always, throughout my career, have contributed in making a difference to the Lebanese community, and I've focused personally in 3 key areas: culturally, environmentally, and also education. And these were the 3 areas that personally, I had lots of vested interest in. I continue giving back to the Lebanese community through engagement sessions, in universities and in schools, whenever I have the opportunity to do so. And also I've instructed my maître parfumeur and my parfumeur to look at potentially, buying, flowers and natural ingredients, from Lebanon, because, we source our products from everywhere in the world, and there is no reason why we don't do it in Lebanon. And I know my team started engaging with the Ministry of Agriculture in Lebanon to be able to be directed to the right farmers to be able to do a little bit, like we do in other communities and in other countries, as you saw here from the videos, in Grasse and also in Haiti. Yes.
Hi, my name is Anthony from Canada, and I just have 2 questions. The first one is, you graduated from a school here in Lebanon, right? Was it?
Yes, Anthony.
Was there ever an obstacle for you internationally if you were looking for, when you were going to work afterwards?
I don't think so. I think it's a mindset. I think we have a great educational system in Lebanon, schools and universities, and they don't only form you academically, also they build your leadership, and you will have a very strong interpersonal skills. And most importantly, what we're very good at in the Mediterranean is, connecting with people. I would say, in the contrary, coming from Lebanon has always, helped me throughout my career. As Lebanese abroad, and you, Anthony, you live in Canada, and most of you who live abroad know, and Lebanese abroad, we have something that is very, very powerful, that I describe as capital sympathy. Lebanese are exceptional ambassadors wherever they go in the world. They are very hard workers. They keep their head down. They do the right thing for their business. And at the same time, they have massive contribution in the communities where they operate when they are successful. This is why throughout my career, wherever I worked in the world, I met so many foreigners who felt very proud of my Lebanese roots and origins. And at the same time, they had so many friends, so many Lebanese friends that have overwhelmed them by their hospitality, because we're very well known for our cuisine and hospitality. At the same time, the contribution that we've done in our communities. And when I was a child, I learned something from my late father that was very important for me in my life. He taught me to love Lebanon, and I love Lebanon, and that's why I feel great that I've been able to act as a Lebanese ambassador wherever I went.
And my second question was, you're the first non-family member to be CEO of the company. Was it hard convincing them to choose you as their leader, as the leader of the company?
I think you need to ask them the question. I know, we've started the conversation. We've talked together for a year, before they offered me the job. I think the company crossed the bridge. What people don't know about Firmenich, Firmenich is an exceptional company that is driven by meritocracy. Even that it's 100% family owned, what you look at our governance, we have a governance of like publicly quoted companies. On our board, we have 9 members, 5 are independents and 4 are family members. So we have the right governance, and the company has been driven by meritocracy over the years. So obviously they chose me, out of several candidates. Maybe my Mediterranean roots, helped me here one more time. Thank you very much for listening to me today. I strongly believe that your future will be great, because you are in the 21st century, and you should be able to fulfill all your dreams. Just remember one thing, if you need to take from this engagement session. Your attitude will determine your altitude in life. And I am very confident that tough times will not last, but tough people will do. And in people who have Lebanese roots and Lebanese origins, we have tough people that have the resiliency, that have the leadership, and know how to overcome challenges and create legacies. And I'm confident that you will. Thank you.
Thank you so much.